Hello, welcome back to my channel. Let's take a look at Total Tarot, episodes 30 and 31, or parts 30 and 31. You think I'd have found a word for this by now, wouldn't you? So I have the deck opened and placed into the box. So as always, I'll do a flip through of the deck at the end for you. And of course, I have my two cards for the Golden Art Nouveau, or GAN, as it seems to be being called now. And they have started to pack them slightly differently, which is good. And I'm pleased to say that there are no damage to these ones. I don't think I've done too badly generally, considering they come just free floating in the packet compared to, I think, some of the cards I've seen arriving. But yeah, so I have those. And we have the magazines, so 1 and 2. So we just dive straight in. This is Tarot of White Cats. Let's come with this one. I don't think I own any animal only decks, to be fair. Oh no, I might. I think I have the Crow Tarot. I could be telling porkies. So what do we have? Diving straight in. Reading the tarot significator cards. I don't use significator cards much unless I'm doing a spread that requests one. Then I will find a significator card, but I don't usually pull them out and have them from decks. So that is something that's nice to have there, and it gives you an invisible influence having a significator card sat in front of you to refer back to. Some spreads will revolve around the significator card. It'll be in the middle, and then you'll refer back, you'll pinpoint in and out of your spread to the one that you have in the middle, and it kind of then changes the story of what's going on. So what do we have here? We have some stuff on extra options, self-reflection, and we have some personality types. So what do we have? These are the majors, personality types for the majors. So the Fool is, as we know, new beginnings, usually that optimistic, best foot forwards. Magicians being masterful in their skill set that they have. The High Priestess being intuitive. We have the Empress, creative. So lots of these go with the kind of stuff that we already know. We have the Emperor, controlling. That kind of goes back to that Mars energy with the Emperor. The Hierophant being the preachy person, or, you know, the teacher. Lovers, the romantics. Chariots, the driven characters in our lives that we meet. Strength, that steadfast person, the rock that we might go to. The Hermits, of the solitaries. The Wheel of Fortunes, those kind of go with the flow people. The happy-go-luckies. You know, everything just in their stride. With our Justice, we have logical thinkers, philosophical people with the Hanged Man. We have Death with hardcore people. Now, I don't quite know what that means, and I don't know why I said it like that, but hardcore personality types for Death. Do you mean go big or go home? I would expect that to be a tower. Let's have a look. We'll keep going. If you can think of what that means, drop it in comments below. We have deviant personality types, naughty, naughty. The Tower, we have dramatics. Okay, yeah, maybe I can see that. But perhaps dramatics would be Death, and hardcore might be Tower. Peaceful for the Star, the mysticals for the Moon. The Sun is a bright personality type. I'm not sure what a bright personality type. Well, yeah, I suppose actually, yeah, maybe I do. The ever bouncy, bit more than the happy-go-luckies, but always bouncy. Evolving, judgment. A bit like a chameleon, I suppose, evolving in a way, changing. Then we have the World, present, somebody who's always present in the moment. That's an interesting take on all the personality types, or archetypes if you want. That's a word that keeps coming to mind for me, is archetypes. But yeah, so that's quite curious. The Eight of Cups in detail. Going through with the Radiant Wise Spirit. We have the thematics meanings up there. So personal life, divination, psyche and soul, and then what the card shows us instead of the conversation with the cards. We have some correlations here with it being number 8, the Sephiro, the element, planet, sign, and esoteric name. A lesson that the card might be holding for us, questions that the card might hold for us. We have some comparisons over here. That's a beautiful card, actually. The Worth Tarot with the butterflies and the cups. Traditional meaning for the reversed and upright on the Eight of Cups. And then we have the selection of cards below. So we have the Shaman's Tarot, the White Cats, which we'll have a look at in a minute, the Neferati, Lo Scarabeo, Fae, Jambauer, Tarot Illuminati, and the Pagan Tarot. Doesn't say when that one's coming. No, that one's for that one, Tarot Illuminati. So what have we got? We have a Feline Attitude 1. So this is part 1 or one of 2 feline attitudes or 9 lives, who knows? So it's a 6 card spread, as we can see. Positions refer to the various characteristics of a cat's personality. Okay, so if you're a cat person, you're probably going to love this one. The Feline Attitude spread uses the typical characteristics of cats as a way to explore tarot in a playful way with the querents who are tense or nervous. The objective is to put anxious querents at ease during a reading. And this whole spread is meant to look like the face of a cat. So I guess that's the ears, nose, eyes, whiskers, mouth. And the card positions. So we have curiosity, distraction, satisfaction, superstition, easing, and uniqueness. And here we have a cat obviously doing the reading to help you out. So some information about the deck Tarot of the White Cats. What have we got for beginners? Tarot of the White Cats is suitable for beginners because 2 of its features. First, this deck follows traditional meanings closely, allowing the reader to use the essential meanings and keywords that they already know without worrying about adapting interpretations to a new deck. It also helps them to make full use of all the techniques and advice that they have learned up to this point throughout all the magazines. And second, the deck can help beginners find a balance between seriousness, which the cards should be read, and the tone of the reading, which can be light. Okay, and then we have the Major Arcana meanings here. What does it say? Let's just read this. Through its cat imagery and symbolism, this deck develops the themes of traditional tarot in a playful way. And that's the 6 of Wands, I'm guessing, straight away by looking at the pictures that's there. We have some advanced use tips here. Marked differences. I've got Marjorie come to join me. And then we have the Minor Arcana meanings. I need to get my printer, and there's the kind of colour printable of the cards, so you can see what you've got if you're unsure, and then you've got things to come back to. Tarot Draconis. Oh, we're going to get a dragon tarot. Okay, and then into the next magazine. Significator cards part 2. More on how to use significator cards, from choosing the right deck to matching cards and goals and desires. What do we have here then? Deck selection, point of attention. The significator card can shine a spotlight on how to start and how to end a reading. The interpretation of the other card is like a winding road, but as long as you focus on the significator, the reading will end by paying detailed attention to the key points for the querent. Okay. What does this say? Darkly glamorous. Querent might reveal their macabre side if they choose the 8 of Wands from the Vampire Tarot of the Eternal Night. I'm guessing that's what this card is from. Does that mean we have a Vampire Tarot deck coming? Looks like we might have. Yes, there we go. The vampires coming up in the collection. Doesn't tell me when. Okay, I've got a Tarot of the Vampire deck arriving at some point, or a Vampire Tarot deck. Let's put it that way. I don't believe I have this deck. So up here we have active use, significator cards helping in a reading to stay on track, using them as filters. So actually this tells us about ways of using that card if you do want to deepen the uses and get to grips with how to use them. Here we have something about goals and desires. The following list of cards and their associations is arranged by theme. This will help you to choose a suitable significator card when the focus is on goals and desires rather than personality type. Okay, right, that makes more sense with the other personality type. So to help you choose a significator card, if you're reading for yourself, if you're not sure what you're looking for, have a little look through these keys and see if something fits what you're after. So if you're wanting to do a spread around creativity, should we say, what of these fits what you're after? Is it that you want fresh ideas? Is it a finished project? Are you looking for originality? Do you need to remove a block, or are you looking for a muse? So then you can pick the card that's suggested. So there are only suggestions. And I do know that some significator cards, they say to pick up the deck and go through with that thought in mind, exactly what you're wanting to ask about, and look for a card that reminds you of that within the deck. So there's some good suggestions there. And of course, you're not limited to those. You can then find your own significator within the deck that you're using. Here we have our 9 of Cups. Got lots on the symbols. This man sat polishing his brass. He kind of looks like a genie or somebody about to grant your wishes. So I kind of get that from this, but I've never really understood the rest of the card. It's really, this out of the deck for me is one of the more pippish looking cards, I suppose, because they're all just like stuck up there with a random picture at the bottom. Then we have the thematics of the 9 of Cups, what the card is showing us. So your wish is granted. 9 of Cups sits upon a table with a cloth concealing the hidden properties of what lays beneath. Be careful what you wish for, as we do not always know what is best for us. Imagine if everything you wanted came true. The 9 of Cups appears to remind us of life's magic and the energetic power lying within you. It also reminds you to use responsibility and love to create meaningful goals, wishes and dreams. Do they serve your highest self? Is your desire true to your deepest self, or are you just being greedy? Traditional meanings, correlations here, and all the esoterics. And then we have some comparisons up the top, along with Tower of the Angels, parts 34 and 35. And then down here we have, do you know, I've never actually noticed this along the bottom, the very, very bottom. So I read the cards where they're from. Right down the bottom, it tells you how that represents, or I may have noticed it and just not really paid attention to it again. It tells you kind of what it means. So let's have a look here. We have the Universal Celtic Tarot, and we have a pregnant 9 of Cups there. It's a bit weird. And we have represents. We have drunk from the fountain of life. Then we have our Neferati, and this one is representing a wedding happening in 9 of Cups, whereas we'd normally represent that with perhaps the lovers, the 2 of Cups, or the 4 of Wands would be some of the ones that we might normally go to for that. And we have the Pagan Tarot, finding a hidden treasure. Love finding hidden treasures. There's our Pre-Raphaelite, the Before Tarot, the Shaman Tarot, the Fae Tarot, and the Draconis. Parts 32, so the next deck. And then we have the run through of the Feline Attitude deck card spread for us. So it's actually quite fitting given that we have the Cat Tarot, isn't it, that they've picked a feline spread. And then you have them just going through for you to see if your interpretation's anything like the interpretation that they have laid down. And I'll just make sure we're in the screen. The meanings of the drawn cards, and we have synthesis and flexibilities. This is about the world of cats. I used to make Egyptian cats out of clay when I was in school. I did that for lots of projects. It's a little unknown fact. Tarot techniques, 1 card, many meanings. Yes, exactly. So many meanings for 1 card. So bear that in mind. The tips and tricks that you get from these books, there are still other meanings out there. And I think that is obviously the point, putting the cards on the bottom and the variations to their meanings and what the picture brings you in. So you'll always have your base layer, then you layer on top what each card brings in, and each card brings in different meaning. And of course the card next to it might make it read differently as well. You know, like when you write a sentence or you punctuate a sentence, they'll bring that difference to what you're having to say. Tarot and Animals, part 1, World of Tarot. We have symbolic beasts, beasts and beings, historic decks, and for collectors only. And then we have our pictorial, coloured pictorial of this deck. Right, let's have a quick look at the cards. Of course, as always, I don't like to give away too much of what's in the magazine, so I do apologise if that frustrates you. Bring you down a bit. So we have the backs, It's nice, glossy. It's quite decent cardstock, I'm going to say. I know lots of people don't like low Scarabeo cardstock, but I do. And I might be on my own in that. But so yeah, and we have these really rather fun backs. So they're reversible for the reversed readers that like a reversible. And obviously, as we know, it's going to shuffle well. Probably put down a bit more with that one. Fingers are cold, so things aren't responding. Does anyone else get that when they get cold? They're like, it's like the hands just suddenly stop. So here we go then with our full. I'll just bring that up a bit for you. It's hard to tell. Is that a rabbit or a dog with those long floppy ears? Maybe it's a dog with a cat chasing at the foot instead. Okay, the magician. Instantly you can see these are very standard images, very recognisable images, but we just got lots more cats in them. A little bit more of a playful nature, I suppose. Where we would have normally our rams, we've got cat heads. That's a slightly different viewpoint from the same kind of hierophant. There's our lovers. Chariot. And so we have justice as 8. The hermit. There's our wheel with the mice running round. So that's a good one for strength, actually. Very different. And our hanged man. All the riches for death. That's curious. And yep, another different viewpoint for our devil. And our tower. At least I didn't do one of those naked cats or the furless cats. I can't remember the names. Magic moon. Rocking horse. And like the Teletubbies sunshine. Again, slightly different take. Oh, world. So for the most part, they're very similar, but there's a few from a different angle or a completely different take, I think, to an RWS. So that one in particular, the death card, and some of them just got like a slightly more fun point about it. Instead of the bird dropping a fish in, we've got the cat looking up to play with the bird, or is he catching the fish? Who knows? So there's our cup suit. It's a bit more colourful actually than the Radiant Wise. There's our 10. So there's not a rainbow in that one. Alright, so we've got our page. Some kind of water animal in the background. Our knight. Queen and king. Oh, into our pentacles. No, actually it does do that with this deck, doesn't it? There's our 3. So you can definitely tell what it's doing. It's very similar, but it's, you know, here it's more completed than before. We've just got the stonework happening. So perhaps that might bring me more to stonemasonry or something. So 6. I wonder if that's catnip. That's a very fancy horse. I like the element there of the snail, bringing in that essence of not rushing as well. And we've sort of got some turning of leaves there. Right, into our wands. Oh, this one's looking back, not forwards. pyramids in the background. Oops, just bring that one up to have a look at. So we have a little mouse there instead of a pet cat. And a very regal looking queen cat head there too. He looks a bit grumpy for a king. Oh, I say, Ace of Swords. Very bad day. Five. Picking up and leaving in the dark and light. So they're all kind of the same sort. I mean, the hilt's there. Is that the hilt? The hilts are different, except that one. That's a different blade. It's nice. See you, I'm off. I like that. Ten of Swords. Then we have our page. Knight. Queen. Oh, she looks like a very friendly queen. And her back of her throne's not quite so high as we're used to seeing. And she almost looks grounded. She looks like she's on the ground and not hiding in the clouds. Same with our king. Although he does have a rather dangerous smile, if that's going to focus. I think. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not expecting these to shuffle anyway, other than they normally do. Nice and slippery. I'm impressed with the cardstock, as I said. No, I still don't riffle shuffle or bridge. Remember, shuffling is up to you, how you choose to shuffle. There is no right way, there is no wrong way. If you put them on the table and just whiz them all around and scrumple them all back up together to get your card, that is okay. Oh. Told you my hands are cold. Got cards jumping out all over the place. We've gone back into a cold spell here. And the fire is in the other room. Let's see, how does this card or this deck want to be seen? The Five of Cups. Interesting. So, wants to be seen as something that causes us to stop and think, pause, ponder our movements, ponder the next phase of life, decide how we're going to move forwards with whatever it is that we bring to the table for this deck to answer, I'm guessing. Hopefully advancing us to greener shores, but yeah. I think that's a very interesting card to come out. Actually, it's an interesting question to ask. It's not something I normally ask a deck. So, why? I'm seeing that as to help bring in a secure life, moving forward to the next stages. Okay, that makes the Five of Cups sound more realistic, doesn't it? Or less scary, at least. With the Six of Pentacles on the bottom. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that anyway. Thanks for indulging with me. And what's your take on the Five of Cups then? What do you think as far as how's this deck wanting to be read? Or what it's going to help us with? Take care. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.